The explosion tore through the laboratory dome like divine wrath, the shockwave slamming me against century-old shelves as glass shards embedded themselves in my nape. The coppery tang of blood mingled with acrid burning plastic, flooding my throat. A grotesque déjà vu of my previous life's final moments, when flames licked at my skin and my unborn child kicked desperately within me. But now my palm glided over a stomach as flat as polished marble. The price of rebirth, it seemed, was first carving away the softest part of my flesh. Jiangdi, hold on. Chu Hua's roar cut through the smoke. The hem of his lab coat was stained crimson, not with my blood but hers. The woman in his arms hooked a pearl-lacquered fingernail around his collar, the jade bangle on her wrist swaying delicately. The same bangle he'd later given me as a guilt offering, only for me to discover it had been recut from my own grandmother's emerald. Overhead, the fire sprinklers burst to life, icy water mixing with embers that seared my bleeding calves. Through the haze, I saw Wang Zhu pinned by security at the lab entrance, water dripping from his hair, his eyes burning with panic. Dr. Wen is pregnant. Chu Hua, you fucking save her. His scream shattered against the wind as Chu Hua swept Jiangdi into his arms. That same wind carried scorched ash to my face, indistinguishable from the cold smirk he'd worn while injecting me with sedatives in another life. She's the Jiang Medical Group heiress, Chu Hua muttered, kicking a broken test tube that sent glass biting into my palm. His polished shoe grazed my bloodied coat, igniting the fabric. An educated woman should understand priorities. Yet all I saw was the mole on his neck, the one I'd kissed feverishly on countless nights, now traced by Jiangdi's delicate fingers. Another support beam groaned. My fingers found the ultrasound slip in my pocket, still warm from this morning. The 7-month-old fetus in the image had pulsed with life hours ago. Now my hollowed stomach gaped like a black hole. Only the cold keycard digging into my back confirmed this was the first day of my second chance, the pivotal moment I could rewrite fate. Dr. Chu, I'm scared. Jiangdi whimpered. Yet when she turned, her smoke-grayed lashes framed eyes of terrifying clarity. The same calculated gaze she'd worn while telling reporters, not saving Dr. Wen remains my greatest regret. Standing over my charred remains, an alcohol barrel exploded, flames racing up electrical cables. I watched Chu Hua carry Jiangdi toward safety, and laughed. The sound froze Wang Zhu mid-struggle, a security flashlight illuminating my ember-streaked face. Slowly, I withdrew the damning photo from my coat. Chu Hua and Jiangdi entangled in the hospital garage, copied from his unattended computer. Wait. My voice cut through chaos, the keycard's edge drawing blood from my palm. You forgot this. He whirled, pupils contracting at the VIP ward access pass in my fingers, the one bearing his and Jiangdi's smiling faces. Firelight danced across his ashen face, his Adam's apple bobbing in panic, mirroring the moment I'd exposed his embezzlement records in our past life. Jiangdi erupted in coughs, shoving Chu Hua aside to stagger toward me. Their fire extinguisher. Sweat dripped from her hair as she accidentally toppled a reagent cabinet. The shattering glass released a familiar sickly sweet vapor, the same ether that had stolen my consciousness in that other fire. Wang Zhu's warning shriek merged with sirens. I clenched the keycard tighter, letting its edge bite deeper. As Chu Hua rushed to shield Jiangdi, my outstretched leg sent them sprawling onto glass shards. Her scream pierced the air. Using the sprinkler's cover, I slammed the access card against Chu Hua's chest. Before saving your mistress, doctor, perhaps consider what happens when your research proposals go public. Terror flashed in his widened eyes. He understood. Those files contained everything: misappropriated funds, falsified data, his entire house of cards. Flames crackled between us, illuminating the vein throbbing at his temple, just as when he choked me in our last life, snarling, "Why won't you just die? When Jinxi, don't you dare." The ceiling collapsed. Through the debris, I saw Chu Hua instinctively shield Jiangdi, while I rode the blast wave toward the exit, Wang Zhu's grip hauling me to safety as Jiangdi's leg. Get a surgeon. Chu Hua's bellow chased us into the night, ambulance lights painting the scene in lurid flashes. On the gurney, oxygen mask fogging with each breath, I watched Chu Hua carry Jiangdi into her, my blood still smeared across his coat. He avoided my gaze. My fingers brushed my flat stomach, then the USB hidden under my tongue, containing not just his crimes, but Jiangdi's orders to lace my prenatal tea with diuretics. Doctor, your wounds. Wang Zhu pressed gauze to my arm. I smiled behind the oxygen mask, hiding the storm in my eyes. Across the lot, Chu Hua knelt outside her, phone trembling at his ear. Father suppressed the news. Yes, the one girl. The mask muffled my laugh. Had I not lived this twice, I might have believed his act. But rebirth grants clarity, and vengeance tastes sweeter when served ice-cold. In his mouth, however, the injury was trivial. Director Wang instinctively tried to rush into the burning laboratory, only to be held back by colleagues behind him. Director Wang, stay calm. The lab is full of flammable and explosive materials. It's extremely dangerous. Yes, in my memory, the lab would explode again in about 15 minutes. In my past life after being rescued, I urgently urged everyone to leave, saving their lives. Chu Hua had originally wanted to go back for Jiang Di, but upon seeing the escalating flames, he ultimately lacked the courage to enter. So in this life, how could I believe his promise to return for me? I knew he wouldn't. He was so self-centered, never capable of risking his own safety. Yet I also didn't want to drag down those who truly cared about me. Propping myself up on the ground, I shouted with all my strength, "Don't come in! It's about to explode, run!" At the word explosion, Chu Hua paused in his steps while carrying Jiang Di. He turned back, staring at me in disbelief, his eyes as cold as if gazing at a stranger. "Wen Jinxi, how did I never realize you're so scheming? If we just waited half an hour, the fire department could have controlled the blaze. What will our colleagues think of me now? Why can't you be more like Jiang Di and show some kindness? Do you even have a conscience?" I laughed bitterly at his hypocrisy. Where was this talk of scheming when you were in bed with me? Where was the question of conscience when you were spinning your sweet lies? Jiang Di gently tugged at Chu Hua's collar, weakening. "Chu Hua, I feel awful." At her voice, his gaze instantly shifted from me to her. "Hold on. I won't let anything happen to you." He carried her away without a backward glance. Gritting my teeth, I pushed against the heavy cabinet, each movement sending searing pain through me. But compared to the suffering of my past life, this was nothing. Director Wang staggered to the ground in shock. "Chu Hua, you bastard. The dean won't let you get away with this." As the only one in the hospital aware of my identity, her words were met with cruel mockery. "The dean won't let me go? Ridiculous. Jiang Di is the only daughter of Zhang's medical. He'd be the one in trouble if anything happened to her." I struggled to crawl through the gap between the cabinet and the floor, my leg wound reopening, blood soaking my clothes. But I couldn't care, I had to survive. Sensing time was running out, I shouted at Wang Zhu. "Don't beg him, run." I'd never forget the past life. Chu Hua pouring gasoline over me, his eyes wild with hatred, not a trace of love, ignoring my screams and the child in my womb as he lit the match. Only then did I realize he blamed me for Jiang Di's death all those years, harboring boundless resentment. Before I could shake off the memory, Wang Zhu rushed in despite the flames. "Jinxi, hold on." Smoke choked my throat, blurring my vision. Yet his slight figure shone clearly in the firelight. "Are you crazy? Get out. It's going to explode." He ignored my roar, gritting his teeth as he hoisted half my weight, inching toward the door. The scorching air burned our skin. I saw his hair singed, a strand still smoldering, yet he dragged me on as if impervious to pain. Gazing at his soot-streaked face, my heart ached. I raised my watch, little time left. "Wang Zhu, on my count of 3, 2, 1, we dash out. Leave me behind." He replied without turning. "Shout all you want, I'm not letting go." Warmth flooded me, fixing my gaze on the lab door, the gateway to life. 3, 2, now. We lunged forward as a thunderous boom erupted behind us, the shockwave hurling me to the ground. My eardrums threatened to burst. All went white upon only a deafening ring. "Jinxi! Wen Jinxi! Can you hear me?" Distantly, Wang Zhu's panicked voice pierced the haze. I forced my eyes open. "I'm okay. Just my leg." His face paled at the sight, rushing off to fetch a stretcher. Passing an emergency room, I saw Chu Hua tenderly comforting Jiang Di, as if the inferno had never happened. A compassionate head nurse clicked her tongue. "Oh Jinxi, what suffering you've endured. So many fractures, you'll need a full year to recover." Her voice trembled. "Thank goodness your right hand is unharmed. You can still operate after resting." I managed a weak smile, too pained to speak. She whispered, "That Jiang Di? I heard she has a mere scratch. Look how he fusses over her." Wang Zhu exploded. "Chu Hua, you're disgusting." Before she could finish, Jiang Di coughed delicately. "Chu Hua, I'm tired." He cooed. "Just a little longer, darling, colleagues are coming." Glancing at me, he snapped at Wang Zhu. "Wen Jinxi is fine now. Since when is our business your concern? Stop meddling." I stared him down. "We're done. Break up." Wang Zhu nodded fiercely. "Good riddance, scum." Chu Hua froze, frowning. "What are you playing at, Jinxi? Don't be unreasonable. You're unharmed. Jiang Di and I are just friends. Stop being petty." I sneered. "Me? Unreasonable? Do you deserve to judge? You'd rather save another woman than me. That's the boyfriend you claim to be." Jiang Di's tears flowed instantly. "How can you say that, Jinxi? He knew you're stronger. He had faith in you. A qualified doctor should prioritize those in greater need." The ward erupted in chaos. Chu Hua's accusations, Jiang Di's sobs, drawing curious stares. "She's right, the goddess is fragile. Dr. Chu was just doing his duty." Jiang family's heiress, of course she's a priority. Just then my grandfather rushed back from abroad. Chu Hua instantly switched to a sycophantic tone. Dean, I risked my life to save Jiang Di during the explosion. She said Jiang's medical will strengthen our partnership. My grandfather's face darkened. Where is Wen Jinxi? Misreading the anger, Chu Hua hurried. She and Jiang Di were alone in the lab. Jiang Di couldn't have made a mistake. This is all Wen Jinxi's fault. She's only slightly injured. I suggest banning her from experiments. Jiang Di can handle them alone. These accidents are all her doing. My grandfather's expression turned icy. Lying in bed, I smirked inwardly. Wait and see, Chu Hua, without me your troubles are just beginning. The world faded to black before I could see my grandfather's face clearly. I awoke the next evening, limbs encased in plaster, unable to move yet feeling reborn. Jinxi, you're awake. Wang Zhu, exhausted yet beaming, rushed to my side. I tried to reach him, wincing at the pain. His eyes filled with tears. You fool! Do you know how critical your injuries were? I smiled faintly. At least I survived. In this life I owe Chu Hua nothing. Grandpa and I will both live. He laughed through tears, dabbing his face with a tissue. I told Grandpa everything. He's so furious, he's convening an inquiry meeting tomorrow. Tears spilled at the mention of my grandfather. In my past life I'd caused his death. Collecting myself, I asked, Wang Zhu, there's something else. Could you retrieve the lab surveillance footage from before the accident? He ruffled my hair gently. Already done. There were some hitches, but it's sorted. Guilt swamped me. In my past life, brainwashed by Chu Hua, I'd accused Wang Zhu of jealousy, severing our friendship. I'd been blind, valuing dross over gold. Just as I closed my eyes, Chu Hua entered, trailing a perfectly unscathed Jiang Di, who coquettishly twirled her hair. The commotion drew all eyes. I, swathed in plaster, lay immobile. Wang Zhu exhaled sharply, sneering. Your goddess looks perfectly fine, doesn't she? Chu Hua ignored him, stepping forward to grasp my hand. I recoiled in revulsion. Unfazed, he smirked. Jinxi, see? You're unhurt. Jiang Di promised to strengthen Jiang's medical's partnership with our hospital. I'm on track for promotion. Aren't you happy for me? A bitter laugh escaped me. Happy? When I nearly died in that lab. How should I feel? Jiang Di feigned a sigh, her gaze hardening. When Jinxi, I never took you for such a selfish person. All for baseless jealousy you'd sabotage Chu Hua's future? Honestly, I'm disgusted. I stared her down. Know what ruined future means? The moment Chu Hua abandoned me, his future vanished. Chu Hua's brow furrowed deeply, eyes blazing. Jiang Di came to apologize, and this is your attitude? I'm still your boyfriend. Instead of gratitude, you curse me? This petty job. How much can it earn? Everything I do is for our future. His hypocrisy sickened me. We broke up, Chu Hua. Get out. The ward erupted in whispers. Can't she let it go? A boyfriend's career matters more. I'd suffer in silence for such a future. Wang Zhu whirled, shouting at the gawkers. Stop gossiping. The dean will hold an inquiry tomorrow. We'll see who's ashamed then. Chu Hua finally acknowledged Wang Zhu, frowning. What inquiry? Wang Zhu crossed her arms, eyeing Jiang Di. About how the lab accident really happened. Someone knows the truth. Jiang Di paled, trembling visibly as if about to collapse. Chu Hua rushed to steady her, cooing. Don't fear, my love. I believe you. She nestled into his chest, tearful eyes lifted. I know you trust me, Chu Hua. At the lab I warned Jinxi to be careful, but she brushed me off. Then the explosion. I tried to save her, I truly did. Murmurs of condemnation rippled through the crowd. So she caused the blast. No wonder he didn't save her. Chu Hua's fury exploded. You dare refuse to repent? Apologize to Jiang Di now, and I'll speak for you at tomorrow's meeting. Wang Zhu and I exchanged a smirk. If you two kneel and apologize, I might show mercy. Jiang Di simpered. I'm only trying to help, Jinxi. Why can't you appreciate that? I silenced them with the nurse call button. The head nurse entered, glaring at Chu Hua. Dr. Chu, this isn't your department. Dr. Wen underwent a night-long surgery. Leave her be. Chu Hua spluttered, dragging Jiang Di away in a huff. Wang Zhu studied me. You've changed. I managed a twisted smile. After dying once, you learn who's human and who's a beast. The lesson cost too much. Grandfather arrived later, bloodshot eyes and stubbled face etched with worry. Jinxi, I just left for abroad, how could this? His voice broke, trembling fingers brushing my bandaged face. At his haggardness, tears spilled. In my past life, trusting Chu Hua had cost the One Family Hospital, our fortune and grandfather's life, while Chu Hua rose on our ruin. Now, gripping his hand, I choked out. Wang Zhu told you about the lab? That lab was your gift. How could I neglect it? The next morning, Wang Zhu wheeled me into the inquiry. More a witch hunt. Chu Hua and Jiang Di sat across, the theatrically indignant. Grandfather at the helm. Seeing me, his gaze softened briefly before hardening. Dr. Jiang. You claim Dr. Wen caused the accident? She flinched, voice trembling. Yes, Dean. I warned her. Grandfather slammed the table, making her jump. Do you know the consequences of lying? Chu Hua stood abruptly. Dean, why assume she's lying? A frosty glare silenced him. Jiang Di sniffled. Why would I risk Zhang's reputation? The room erupted. She's really Zhang's heiress. Upset them and our partnership suffers. Just discipline Dr. Wen and end this. Grandfather turned livid. So because she's a corporate heiress, an innocent doctor must take the fall? My heart ached at their greed. As executives squirmed, Grandfather signaled Wang Zhu. The screen flickered to life, high-definition footage filling the room. The lab surveillance footage appeared on screen. Jiang Di's face drained of color, lips quivering as she shook her head wildly. No, this can't be. The hospital banned lab cameras. Grandfather shot her a withering glance. This lab was a gift to my granddaughter. I answered to no one about its setup. Chu Hua whirled to face me, stunned. What? I stared back coldly. Wang Zhu told you. The room froze, silence so thick it hummed, until a brave soul ventured. Dean, is Dr. Wen your granddaughter? Wang Zhu ignored them, clicking through the footage. There I was in a lab coat, mask secure, working methodically. Suddenly, the container before me erupted in flames without warning, smoke billowing. Chu Hua jabbed at the screen. There. She must have messed up. But don't worry, Jinxi. I'll take the blame. Jiang Di sagged in relief, tears welling. I hated exposing her. If only I'd warned her sooner. Grandfather's fist slammed the table, making her jump. But the spineless executives, cowed by Jiang Di's act and the Jiang name, murmured, Dean, let it go. One's a heiress, the other's your granddaughter. No good comes from scandal. For a heartbeat, doubt not at me. But I'd run this experiment hundreds of times. My protocols involved no flammables. A single mistake couldn't cause spontaneous combustion. Wang Zhu gave me a reassuring smirk. Gentlemen, you see the container, but not her hands. Indeed, my upper body was visible, but instruments obscured my work. Then Wang Zhu zoomed in on the glass cabinet behind my desk. There, clear as day, Jiang Di slinking up, furtively pouring a vial of liquid into my container. All in seconds. My nails bit into my palms. Jiang Di, Grandfather intoned. Any last words? She collapsed, white as a sheet. It's a trick. You edited this. Just then, Grandfather spoke into his phone. The door burst open. His assistant entered, flanked by a steely-eyed noblewoman. She swept the room, gaze landing on Jiang Di. Madame Jiang, the real heiress of Zhang's medical? Executives scrambled to their feet, stammering at Grandfather. Dean, let's settle this privately. We need their partnership. Grandfather lit a cigarette, exhaling slowly. Madam, is this your daughter? At Madame Jiang, Jiang Di shrank, refusing to meet the woman's gaze. The noblewoman scoffed. My daughter is studying abroad. I'm here to deal with this impostor. She wrenched Jiang Di's chin up. Pretty face, rotten heart. The executives who'd cowered for Jiang Di now raged. How dare she con us? Lock her up for framing the dean's granddaughter. Chu Hua opened his mouth, but Jiang Di's glare silenced him. You're one to talk, she sneered. You've been my lapdog since you thought I was a heiress. You saved me for your own career, you hypocrite. Repulsive as she was, she spoke truth. As the truth sank in, police entered. Ms. Jiang, you're under arrest for assault and fraud. She turned to Chu Hua, pleading, but he looked away. She crumpled like a wilting flower. After she was led away, Chu Hua staggered to me, repentant. Jinxi, I was deceived. I love you. Spare me, I snapped. Wang Zhu shoved him aside in disgust. Jiang Di needs a dog, I don't. Jiang Di was sentenced to 3 years, paroled for good behavior. Chu Hua was fired, blacklisted from every hospital. A year later, recovered, I returned to work, only to spot him skulking in a hat and mask. He has that disease, Wang Zhu whispered. Our hospital's the best for it. Karma. That night in the parking lot, he ambushed me, gripping my wrist, right on my old wound. You owe me. Your grandfather ruined me. I recoiled. Oh, you? For catching a dirty disease. His face purpled. Before he could strike, a pink handbag slammed into his face. Jiang Di, gaunt from prison. You used me, then dumped me for her? They scuffled as I locked myself in the car. I messaged security. Crazy dogs fighting, come now. A scream. I looked up, Jiang Di lay in a pool of blood, a horrified driver beside her. Chu Hua tried to flee, but security tackled him. She was 8 weeks pregnant. Surveillance showed him pushing her. He was charged with murder. As a doctor, I know his disease is incurable. He'll rot in prison, fitting punishment. What goes around comes around.